Welcome to the D-Post pregame chat. I'm Todd Murray along with Dominion Post football beat writer Ed Owens. And Ed, we're about just a few hours away from kickoff against Towson here tonight. Coming off a game last week against number 2 Alabama. They gave the Crimson Tide a game, and I guess the big question this week is, can they continue, to play at a high level? The last thing they can afford is a letdown.
Absolutely. Coming off the game against Alabama, 33-23 loss. Going in, a lot of people thought the final score was going to be a little more lopsided than that. WVU maybe opened up a few eyes last week, and they're looking to open up a few more. The key to that is going to be not having a letdown against this Towson team. Towson's coming off a loss to Central Connecticut State University, not a powerhouse, but they're showing that this is not the same Towson team that finished number 2 in the FCS last year. So WVU has a real opportunity to come out, take control of this game early, and make it theirs. I think they need to do that. They need to come out strong. FCS teams this year not having the same success that they had last year, where I think in week 1 there were 8 wins by FCS teams. This year, 2-44 was the record in opening week. WVU does not want to become another statistic like that. They don't want to be that third team to fall to an FCS opponent.
The players have said all the right things in the days leading up to tonight's game, but we shall see. Another big area last week, 28 yards rushing against the Tide. Obviously, that can't continue for WVU. What needs to happen tonight to get that running game going?
Yeah, 28 yards is something I focused on a lot this week, and I think much to the chagrin of WVU's coaches, they didn't seem to take too kindly to the fact that 28 number kept being brought up. And to be fair to them, it's a little bit misleading. Early on, they had some success. When they started to struggle with the run, they got away from it. They ditched their running game, and they started using short swing passes, screens, and ways to get their receivers more involved. They threw the ball to guys out of the backfield, and they made up a lot of the yardage there that they weren't getting on the ground. That said, against a team like Towson, you have to be able to run the ball. If you can't run the ball against Towson, you're not going to be able to run the ball against many teams this year. And I think people will be able to, in the future, pin their ears back and really get after Clint Trickett and really kind of hamper WVU's passing game. I think they need to come out. They need to set the tone early with this run. It's something everybody always says, establish the run, establish the run. Well, WVU has to establish the run today. I think you really need to see a lot out of that talented backfield.
With Clint Trickett, maybe a lot of people wondered how he would come back after the off-season surgery. Made some good plays in the Alabama game. He admitted that he missed some throws, too, that he should have completed. What have you seen out of him?
I don't know what more you could ask out of a guy like Clint Trickett. Yes, he did miss some throws, but he made a ton of them. Finished with 365 yards and I think 29 completions. Even more than that, they moved the ball quickly on offense. The one thing they talked about was tempo, kind of pushing that pace. This offense showed they could do it. They couldn't do it consistently, they couldn't do it all the time, but they could do it, which is a lot more than we could say about them last year. Trickett missed a couple throws. The receivers dropped a lot of throws. If you take those drops and a few errant passes by Trickett into account, he's well over 400 yards. He's got multiple touchdown passes. That whole Alabama game could be different. So I don't want to put too much pressure on Trickett and say he needs to turn this around, because he obviously had a pretty outstanding week 1. But I'd like to see the tempo. I'd like to see the tempo remain and be able to push the pace and really test what Towson can do defensively.
Another number the WVU coaches did enjoy last week, and that was a 0 when it came to quarterback sacks. I would think tonight they need to get pressure on Towson.
Absolutely, and I think last week against Alabama, you're going up against an elusive quarterback. You're going up against, obviously, a strong offensive line. Against Towson, you're going up against a very young offensive line. I think you've got one junior. The rest are all underclassmen. They're starting a redshirt freshman, a couple sophomores. This is a Towson offensive line that can be taken advantage of, and WVU's defensive line needs to get a pass rush today. They need to get in there and get after him, show that they can do it. It's something they really struggled with. They got some pressure last week, but they just couldn't finish plays, and finishing was the mantra all preseason. It was the mantra all through camp. Finish plays, get in there, get in the backfield, and disrupt the play. They didn't do it against Alabama. I'd really like to see them be able to do it against Towson tonight.
All right, we'll see how it all plays out. Ed, thanks for your time as always. Thank you for tuning in to the D-Post Sports Chat.